everyone, and welcome. I am Jessica Lynn Verdi, and I get to host, honestly, the most exciting part of this entire day, the Voices panel for Hollywood Food Coalition. I am joined by Julianne Grossman, who plays the computer for Star Trek Discovery, Fred Tatasciore, who plays Lieutenant Shax in Lower Decks, Bonnie Gordon, who also plays computer in Star Trek Prodigy, and Jack McBrayer, who, I have to be honest, plays my newest favorite character on Star Trek, Badgie. Truly, I love and fear Badgie with an intense passion. So this is as exciting for me as it is for everyone watching. Hello, everyone. How are you?
Jessica,
Hello.
I want to point out something. You're coming in really hot.
Good to know.
You got to turn down your input.
Great. Well, we had literally technical difficulties as I was starting, so I can fix that right now.
Yes, great, awesome.
Lower that game.
Oh, good.
Lower that game.
Lower that game.
Bonnie, why don't you ask questions while I fix that?
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to my TED Talk. We are here today as an intervention to Jack McBrayer. Jack, no, I'm just kidding.
No, there's no intervening.
Yeah, I know. There's no intervening.
Him.
Jack, we've been told that we're all here to help you. This was all planned today, this whole day around your schedule.
There's no
Jessica, are you
I
back?
hear your silent scream for help.
Oh, my voice.
I would say I'm back now. Maybe not.
You're much better.
You're much better.
Am I? Is it? Okay, great.
Yes,
Wonderful.
feel better back.
What
Love
we
it.
are here for is for a good cause, and
Yes,
everyone keep
Hollywood Food
donating.
Coalition.
This is amazing that we're able to do this, and there's so many Star Trek people coming together today for a good cause, and I'm so happy to be here. So
We're
thank
so
you.
happy to be here.
Thank you, Bonnie, for that,
Very blessed.
as I figured it out. So we are all in our own right, varying Star Trek aficionados, and here for a reason, whether we like Star Trek or we got hired. So I want to go down the line and say, what do you love about being part of the project that you're part of? And Julianne, I want to start with you. You get to voice, I think you were the first computer hired after Majel. Is that right?
That is right. Yes, and when I went to my very first convention, Rod Roddenberry came up to me, took my hands, and said I wanted to meet the woman who took over the mantle of my mother, and that made me cry and was really amazing. And I didn't base my voice off of what she did. I did something totally different. And but I definitely have her to thank for the 50 years. You know what they were going to do is they were going to edit her together. That was the original concept, is they were going to take 50 years of Majel and string it all together, which they would have needed a really patient editor to do. And they decided at the end of the day, let's just bring someone on new. And I auditioned in my pajamas in my home. I see other voiceover people nodding, and was shocked and thrilled to discover that I booked the voice.
We've been doing at-home auditions since before COVID.
Yeah.
When everyone's like, party on the bottom down and then professional on the top up. We've
As I
known
am
about
now.
that for some time.
I'm not even wearing pants. So.
Why would you? In the event that there was an earthquake, the feed would go dead anyway.
Right?
Bonnie, you also are a voice of a computer. Do you feel intimidated by Majel? Do you feel intimidated by Julianne?
Do you?
I feel like it's kind of a legacy that we get to step forward into, she set the bar so high for something as simple as a computer voice. She is a legacy in its own right. And so coming into Prodigy as the voice of the computer, and just coming into Star Trek in general as a Trekkie, I was just beyond, I wouldn't even say terrified, but I was honored, and I was hoping that, Trekkies and people that really cared about the franchise would understand why Majel's voice was not being used, and that they would accept new voices as computers. And so far the love has been amazing and very welcoming, and it's been such an honor to be a part of this canon, because as a Trekkie, I was just excited to be a part of the project. I came on board doing scratch vocals for Captain Janeway on Prodigy and for Gwen. So as I was doing, scratch, I, got to read all these scripts going like, man, to be a part of the show would be just so incredible. And then bam, it just happened. It was all the Tetris pieces fell into place.
Well, yeah, I find the more that we follow the direction of a light that we like, the more we find ourselves in the room with people that we've looked up to as we've gone on with our career, or all of a sudden, like the kismet things come into play. So it just makes sense that, here you are, and here we are today, even to celebrate a good cause. So,
Exactly.
Fred, you have done so much voiceover work, as I'm sure everyone else has here too. When did you have to audition, or did you get a call saying, we know exactly what we want you to do?
No,
Jump on
I
in.
auditioned. We auditioned for it. I got called in, and again, to reiterate what Monty's saying, I'm a complete Trekkie. I am such a fan. I am beside myself. This is a dream come true, and it's not a joke. I love what all Roddenberry had set up for the future, and the vision of the future, and what it should be, what we can be. So that's a big deal for me. I auditioned for this part. I didn't know it was a Star Trek thing. I looked at the script and I thought, oh, this is a comedy spoof. Right, it's a total comedy. It's really funny, and I thought, obviously it's not Star Trek. It's going to be a joke or something. But how is Star Trek allowing these guys to do this? Like I really did. I was like, this is irreverent. Like this is not like. I mean, it's great, but
I still don't know how Star Trek's letting you do the show that is.
No, by the way, Mike McMahon doesn't know either. He was such a Trekkie. He was like, I don't think they're going to allow me to do that. Like he tells it on himself. He really was such a diehard fan and really believed in this thing. And he said, I don't know if they're going to let us, let us get away with this. And then when I saw him in the session, he's like, I can't believe this. And so again, I thought this is a spoof, but now you guys are not parodying too much. You're using real Star Trek things. So I thought, like, how could this possibly be right? You're not removed enough to be a parody, And they showed me the character, really directed me through the session.
Really?
I came in. He's hard knocks. This character happens to be very tough. So I assumed he was just like a general tough guy. I didn't realize what a softy and a nice guy he really is.
And how the sex appeal of him too.
I mean, come on, let's by the prophets. Thank you for that, and I humbly appreciate that. Thank you.
No, believe me, if
Haitians
go
go
after
crazy,
it, then you're doing just fine,
right?
So yeah, it was amazing.
Well, and now to round out the question, Badgie is insane, and but also my poor heart breaks for Badgie because he's just sad that the
He's
dad
misunderstood. He's just
he means
misunderstood.
You took us through a whole season's worth of story in one episode. How fun was that for you?
It was amazing. I'm probably newer to the whole, Star Trek family and canon. But when this script came across and they told me like what the character was and what they wanted to do with it, I was like, oh, well, I'd be a fool not to. I mean, I don't think it's any secret here that I'm kind of a one-trick pony with what I sound like. So they knew what they wanted from Badgie, and they thought it would be a good fit. So I was like, okay, let's do it.
Well, you should give yourself a little bit more credit because it wasn't until someone said, do you know who that is? And I went, oh my goodness, because when you're sucked in as a watcher, I'm not trying to go, oh, who is that? Unless, you're in the business, as I'm sure all of us will watch TV and go, I can't believe they got that role and I didn't, But you also just went through so many like audible emotions going through that too. So how fun was that experience in the booth where you just like got to make weird noises and stuff?
It was amazing. And plus, I mean, like Fred was saying, it goes back to the writer, to the creators. Mike McMahon was there the whole step of the way. And he gave me things that I could latch on to. I don't know if y'all remember back in the early days of like Microsoft Office, there's this little character that pops up if you're writing a letter.
Yes.
And so that was a good template for me to use, which made it easier for me because, again, I didn't have as much information about the history and just the, iconic life that is Star Trek. So I was a little in uncharted waters for me.
Totally. But I think this, to go back to something Julianne said, it's like you she could have either mimicked Majel or she could have brought her
Make-
own secret sauce to it. And I think that especially in the voiceover world, you've got to know how to bring your special gift to the work, but also do the job. So do you find it hard to do both of those things at the same time, where you're like, am I trying to please the director, or am I bringing what they want me to do? Does anyone have something to say about
Well,
that?
I'm just thinking about Jack. I met him on Wander Over Yonder, and Wander is such a wonderful. There's such a positivity to this character, and Badgie has that same sunny quality, but just completely upside down. So it's just like you just took that wonderful energy that you have and just like, made it psychotic.
It's so like I've always heard it explained, you take the dial of your personality and either go to 11 or like -1. So
Yes.
these characters exist within us,
Yeah.
but in different situations, essentially.
That's a really good way of putting it.
That's
And
great.
I wanted to comment on what you just said, Jessica. I think maybe Jack, you feel this too, but not having come from a Star Trek background and coming into this and feeling, as Bonnie said, so much love and just overwhelming kindness and acceptance and warmth and welcoming from the fans. But because I came to it without knowing and without being steeped in the voice of Majel, I was able to do my own thing. And maybe that helped you too, Jack, because I didn't know that I was auditioning for Star Trek like Freddie. And I just did my best computer voice, not knowing what it was for.
Yeah, I mean, I've just learned over the years, you just do your thing, bring what you bring to the
Yes.
table, and hopefully that's the thing that they're going to want.
Yeah,
So-
that's exactly right. Exactly.
So Bonnie, you're doing scratch for Janeway. You have all these huge shoes to fill. When you get to do the computer, what's that experience? Are you all by yourself? Is someone telling you what you need to do? How do you get into the mode? Did we lose her?
Well,
Oh, we got her. Great.
with COVID, no, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Sorry,
you just were
I don't know what's
frozen.
going on with my connection, but I'm frozen.
It's okay, we can see you.
With COVID, we've all been recording remotely. Yeah, but can you hear me? Can you hear me
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
Can hear
I can
you.
hear
Like,
you.
am I-
It looks like you're in a NASA
coming through
thing.
at all?
You're like,
Or not?
Yeah, you got
Oh,
it. There's
okay.
just a small delay. You're
Okay.
doing great.
Okay, I'm like, ooh, So with me, we've all been recording remotely due to COVID. So I did get to go into the studio before COVID and record scratch for Gwen and Janeway, and then COVID doing it remotely. So now it's just a giant Zoom session,
Yeah.
and I'm recording straight from my bedroom like I am right now with you all. So it's been definitely not the traditional recording, in a sense that I don't get to go into the studio and be with the creative team as I'd like to be, but it's still been such an amazing experience to work on it. So
I
I'm
love
still
that.
very grateful. And getting to do scratch for Janeway, who's my favorite captain, was also
Oh.
a dream, because Kate Mulgrew is one of my
One of
heroes,
yours.
to put it lightly.
And have you got to
Yeah.
know her a little bit, or did you ever meet her?
I didn't get to do anything with her yet because we're all remote. So
COVID, yeah.
no, unfortunately. But I mean, it's gonna happen. She and I are gonna
Or
have
you
lunch.
could get
It's gonna
her
be lovely.
identity, with a phone call. Like, yes, one of the two.
Right.
But the imprint will be fine.
I could just be like, yes, this is Kate Mulgrew. I'm calling for Verizon.
Oh,
Yeah.
my.
Just
Wow.
so good.
Oh, that is awesome.
Can you do Red from Orange is the New Black for us real quick? I'm putting you on the spot. Let's do it.
That's so good.
Oh,
Bonnie.
it's a Russian accent, right? I'd
Yes,
have to-
that's all it is.
I don't want to curse anyone, and like those. I have to. Oh no, I gotta.
You know what? Without even doing it, it sounded like you were
Yeah,
doing
right
it.
in there.
So,
Not even doing
Okay,
it. It sounded like you were doing it.
Okay, well,
great.
Spasibo, пока.
You're professional. So Fred did say that like some of us did come with a Star Trek background. So in the last couple of minutes that we have, I want each of us to kind of go through and go, I know what Star Trek meant to me as a kid. If you have an opportunity to change one person's life with what you've done with Star Trek, what would that be? Or what do you want someone to walk away with? Like they could be a computer voice, or like
You mean like in terms of what Star Trek has given us, or what
Yeah,
from this
I,
experience?
I realized I wasn't 100% clear. So, by you being involved, what is the message you hope to impart to other people by you being involved with the show?
I mean, I'll just jump in quickly because and Fred was touching on this earlier. I like that Star Trek Lower Decks is a funny and irreverent take on the stories and the characters that we're familiar with. But then if we just allow ourselves to, open our minds a little bit and see how much further that world can be expanded and how much fun we can have with these characters in these stories, it was just an honor to be a part of that. And hopefully people can appreciate that. And we'll see all these other worlds with all these other iterations of the show coming about. I think that's really fun.
That's really well put. Yeah, that's exactly right.
That was really good. I think we should just close the show now.
Yeah, I know, right?
John Billingsley, please come in now.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Good night.
No, Bonnie's got it. Bonnie's got it.
Tagline, yeah.
Just know that you can go creatively as far as you think you would like to go, and connect. One of the things is finding your connection to those characters as an actor or whatever, that and really ride that out. Like I feel so a kinship with my character, and they allow, and this is, again, we have great writers and directors that allow us to really explore. And so I think, just trailing off of what Jack said, give yourself license to say, let's just go, because people really want to see you succeed. They want to see their project up, and they want to see the creativity form. They want to jam, Don't hold back.
And with that said, going crazy and finding your own self in your character, in the computer voice character that I do, I find that I have a very cold heart and absolutely no emotional reach whatsoever. So I'm really I just go all out,
And yet Julianne Grossman has donated today. So that clearly is why.
Clearly not the case. Yeah, no.
Not the case.
It's a kind of a zen place you got to go.
I have a shitty
Zen
job.
place.
My shitty job is to interrupt you all.
Oh,
And-
no.
No, I just wanted to say something really fast.
Yeah, we're almost.
Let
There's so much to do. Bonnie's got one last thing. What is it, Bonnie?
I just wanted to say, being a part of Prodigy, which is the show that's the gateway for the younger generation to discover Star Trek, is really special. For those of you who haven't watched yet, give Prodigy a try, because it is the perfect marriage of introducing young kids to Star Trek, as well as being something perfect for Trekkies, both old and new. So it's something that gives us something to look forward to into the future, and Star Trek gives us that hope for the younger generation. And that's all I wanted to say.
Plug. You plug.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
John,
Good.
we are here because of you.
John, yes.
Thank you, John. Yes, thank you.
Letting us be a small part of what we hope is a very big fundraiser for you.
Thank you. I'm just so touched and stunned at the turnout. Now, when we thought we'd do this, we thought, maybe we'll get 20, 30 people. Everybody we asked said yes. We're like, oh, I guess we're gonna do an 8-hour telethon. So we know. It's a good thing we didn't ask more people. We'll be here until Sunday morning.
There are
I'm
worse
fine
things.
with that.
There were-
Donation, making it easy to donate here. Is it say?
You could, yes, there's a little crawl here that's kind of telling you how to do it, but you could also just go back to the green room, and they could also guide you and instruct
You know what, Fred? If you
let me give
somehow chat me your number, I can send you a text.
Ooh.
Yeah, well, we've been wanting to do that. We go back.
Making
So
connection.
Well, here it is.
No
It's
idea.
right here on the screen. Donate now at donate.trektalks.net. 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 There you go. Okay, my job is done. Thank you guys so
Thanks,
much.
John.
You
At
for
the
doing
Trek
this.
Talks.
Fred, I'm sending you a message right now.
And
Okay.
everyone, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. It was such an honor.
Bye.
David Livingston, we haven't quite matched his generous contribution, but we're going to hold that open for one more panel. So if you want to get David Livingston's $1,000, we need a few more contributions. Now I'm going to go after $20 contributions, and here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to introduce you to a gentleman named Patrick Hudnut, who is the dreamiest single staff person at the Hollywood Food Coalition. If you think Patrick Hudnut is as dreamy as the rest of us do, send us $20. I am trafficking in his sex appeal because I cannot put that on the table myself. That's how cheap
I'm sending you $20 right now.
my
So-
evil scheme has worked, Patrick Hudnut.
Yes.
I told you. Dreamy.
Patrick Hudnut's smile
Dreamy.
is
I know.
that's a 100-watt smile.
I
right there.
know.
go.
Isn't that amazing?
I
I know.
Josh Hartnett, a young Josh Hartnett.
I know. It's not even surgically enhanced. It's just how he was made.
He's perfect.
All Photoshop. No.
Coming up, someone who is also dreamy in an entirely different way, the great Tim Russ, who couldn't make it today, but he's made a short video talking a bit about what appeals to him, about the Hollywood Food Coalition, why he cares